Kings News Boom at 1. I'm Stephen Compton first. The headline: United States government announces dropped charges against Liberia former female Ruthless rebel leader Yaman Sisi, popularly known as Black Diamond, faces possible deportation. Government of Liberia expresses readiness to pay 7.1 million to Timor workers through mobile money transfers, but National Timor Wood Construction and Alien Workers Union reject the ministry's move. African Maritime Administration Conference to commence in Monrovia on September 30 as Liberia's special representatives to the International Maritime Organization, Ambassador Robert Bader, termed the conference a boost of domestic growth. And away from home, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have announced they will immediately withdraw from the International Criminal Code, labeling it as instrument of neo-colonialist repression. Details of these developments, the news bulletin, and the voices of the news makers are all packaged. Stay with us as we take this very short break. Welcome back. And up next is the bulletin of news with Newton Topa.
The U.S. government has dropped some charges against former rebel leader Yaman Sisi, popularly known as Black Diamond. Black Diamond was once accused of leading a brutal unit of female fighters and recruiting Chad soldiers during Liberia's bloody civil war, but not before dropping all form of criminal charges against her. She was removed from the United States by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on September 5, 2025, more than a decade after she entered the country on a visitor visa and attempted to build a new life in Georgia. The ICE had initially labeled her as a notorious war criminal and celebrated her arrest as a win for human rights accountability, but the case ended not in a courtroom, but with a one-way ticket back to Monrovia, with no criminal prosecution occurred. She said arrived in the U.S. in 2014 and later married a U.S. citizen and applied for permanent residency. Following her application, the federal immigration authorities alleged that she lied about her identity and wartime activities, including her role as a commander in the Liberian United for Reconciliation and Democracy, a rebel group accused of mass atrocities. According to the IC's own reports, she said led an all-female militia known as the Women's Commandos and recruited young people and boys, some as young as 10, to fight. The government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Finance, says it is committed to paying US 7.1 million owed to timber workers directly to individual beneficiaries rather than paying through any groups or the union's claiming authority. In a press statement issued Tuesday, Ministry of Finance noted that payments will be made only after beneficiaries are verified as legitimate timber workers. According to the ministry, the ongoing disputes between the rebel factions led by Bartholomew Colley and Michael Blaman have complicated matters of representation, making it impossible to channel the funds through a single union structure. The release added that both Colley and Blaman are leading separate groups, each asserting leadership over the Timber Workers Union and laying claim to the settlement funds. At the same time, the government noted that no lump sum payment will be made to any faction or leadership structure, stressing that only the actual workers will benefit. The press statement indicated that the assurance follows a recent Ministry of Finance and Development planning top payment order on the US 200,000 check reportedly issued to the Liberia law firm amid disagreements over the union representation. Meanwhile, the National Timber, Wood Construction and Allied Workers Union of Liberia has sharply rejected the Ministry of Finance's decision to pay the debts lodging companies owed its members through their mobile money numbers. Addressing a press conference in Monrovia, the Union Secretary General Marcus Blaman disclosed that the members of the union are fully determined to resist the ministry, and also cautioned all former timber workers to avoid sending their mobile money numbers to the Ministry of Finance for any transaction. Blama noted that any attempts of the Ministry of Finance to pay the former timber workers union mobile money numbers violates President Joseph Boakar's directive. Liberia will possibly become an epic center for continental maritime dialogue with preparations for the country to host the 2025 Association of African Maritime Administrations Conference. Held on September 30th to October 3rd in Monrovia, the conference will bring together policymakers, regulators, industry experts, and international partners to shape the future of Africa's maritime and inland water economies. Speaking at the press briefing in Monrovia Tuesday, Liberia's special representative to the IMO, Ambassador Robert Badet, termed the conference as Africa's broader maritime aspiration. According to Ambassador Badet, the Association of the African Maritime Administrations, as the continent's foremost maritime body, represents over 40 African nations with strategic maritime interests. Ambassador Kwada also said Liberia hosting the conference is not a coincidence, but a result of decades of contributions to international maritime development. Ambassador Kwada noted that the AAMA conference represents a major opportunity for domestic growth, with the blue economy projected to be a cornerstone of Africa's future. Granville County Senator Norman Batikwa strongly refuted allegations made by Nima County Senator Nya Toyan, who claimed that a recent visit by the Senate Joint Committee on Investment and Concessions to Asilamita, Liberia was orchestrated to solicit bribes rather than to represent the interests of the Liberian people. Making the clarification Tuesday at the Capitol Building office in Monrovia on behalf of the Senate Joint Committee's actions, Grand Creek County Senator and Chair on Investment and Concessions described the allegations as unfounded and deeply misleading, stressing that the committee's work was grounded in legitimacy, transparency, and due process. According to him, Senator Toya initially raised the issues with the communication of the Liberian Senate through ArcelorMittal failure on the MDA with the construction operations in Nimba County. Senator Batukwa added that based on these concerns by him and the Senate, saw the need to constitute a joint committee to investigate. Senator Batukwat clarified that the committee was not a self-appointed body, but was formally constituted by the Senate leadership and has worked closely with relevant stakeholders throughout the process. Addressing Senator Toyan's claims as being excluded from the committee's activities, Batukwa rejected the assertion outright, stating that Toyan was actively involved in the visit to AML. Senator Batikwa reaffirmed the committee's commitment to completing its investigation and representing a full report to the Liberian Senate. The Liberal Council of Churches has expressed deep concern over tensions that erupted between armed police officers and armless citizens at the Roberts International Airport during the former President George Weah's return to Liberia. On Monday, several supporters of former President Weah have gathered at the RIA to welcome him, were tear-gassed and beaten by officers of the Liberia National Police in an effort to disperse them. However, LCZ Secretary General Reverend Dr. Christopher Toh said it is important that the Ministry of Justice provide clear information regarding the incident. According to him, it is a customary issue that Liberians sometimes gather at the opposition direction of the Roberts International Airport whenever individual of high profile, clergymen or guests is coming to the country using the RIA. He added that there was absolutely no need for the police to tear gas nor beat the peaceful citizens for turning out to receive the former president. Authorities of the Liberia National that's the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency on Tuesday held a recognition and honorary ceremony for its Iron Gate Detachment Commander Abdullah Kurman and his team. The recognition ceremony held at its headquarters and graced by senior officers and commanders follows the Iron Gate Detachment recent raids in Jatondo Town in Broadview City that resulted to huge drug bust. During the occasion, LDA officer in charge Fitzgerald Biako, on behalf of the interim leadership, commended Officer Krumah and his team for the operation that led to one of the country's biggest efforts in tackling drug trafficking and abuse. As a mark of appreciation, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency (OIC) presented a new set of uniform and boots to the officer Krumah for his hard work, describing the gift as a symbol of appreciation from the LDEA leadership. In response, Commander Abdullah Kroma expressed gratitude to the agency head and deputies and also thanked the citizens for their support during the operation and called for more citizen support in the fight against illegal drugs across the country. Officer Kuman further urged his colleagues to remain steadfast and diligent, assuring them that their hard work will one day be recognized. The Liberia National Police, Bond County Detachment, has arrested, charged, and forwarded to the 9th Judicial Circuit Court of Bond County two suspected armed robbers. They are identified as Austin Maswell, 40, and Aman Mator Ure, 43. The suspects were charged with theft of property, criminal conspiracy, and simple assault following their arrest in the GST Road community. The third suspect, identified as Foka, is a Sierra Leonean national. He remains on the run as the LMP has launched a search to apprehend him. According to the LMP, the arrest was made based on a tip-off and the suspect's previous criminal records. Speaking at the press briefing, Bond County Police Commander ACP Fasil Sharif confirmed the arrest and reiterated the police commitment in combating crime across the county. Commander Sharif also reaffirmed the enforcement of a recently imposed nighttime restriction on commercial motorcyclists operating within Banga. The restriction, which bans motorcycle movement between 11:30 p.m. and 5 o'clock a.m., aims to curb criminal activities during nighttime hours. The head of the Independent Commission on Human Rights says the prolonged investigation by police in the alleged rape involving the suspended Youth and Sports Deputy Minister is of utmost concern to his institution. Councillor Dempster Brown noted that currently there are about 351 inmates behind bars at the Morovia Central Prison for alleged rape that did not get treatment, like Deputy Minister Bryant McGill, who stands accused of raping a 14-year-old girl. According to him, this strange act of police investigation is nothing but a selective justice, adding that the accused must be arrested and brought under the jurisdiction of the court. Councillor Brown is said to be considering a petition for a writ of mandamus to compel Police Inspector General Gregory Coleman to turn over Deputy Minister Bryant McGill for the law to take its course. The INCHR here disclosed that both the Solicitor General and County Attorney have assured him of turning the accused over since, but wonders why this has not been done. And the Alternative National Congress has announced the holding of its 2025 National Convention in Kakata, Maigibi County, aimed at electing new corps of officers and head of the 2029 presidential and legislative elections. Making the disclosure on Tuesday in Morovia, the organization chairman of ANC 2025 National Convention, Patrick Moore, said delegates are expected to adopt the new constitution, raise funds, and develop a budget to run the party. According to him, during the operation ceremony, several political parties and prominent personalities will be in attendance. More at the same time encouraged members of the ANC who are not delegates to make their way and grace the opening and closing of the convention.
New to October and the news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. 45 minutes of news about Liberia and the rest of our one world. In one of our top development this afternoon, United States government announces dropped charges against Liberia former female rebel leader Mayaman Sisi, popularly known as Black Diamond, faces possible deportation. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you voices of the news makers. Welcome back. Let's now take our first development. Grand Crew County Senator Nimine Batikwa has strongly refuted allegations made by Nimba County Senator Yan Twine, who claimed that a recent visit by the Senate Joint Committee on Investment and Concession to ArcelorMittal Liberia was orchestrated to solicit bribe rather than to represent the interest of the Liberian people. Making office in Morovia on behalf of the Senate Joint Committee's action, Grand Crew County Senator Batikwa described the allegation as unfounded and deeply misleading, stressing that the committed work was grounded in legality, transparency, and due process.
You raise the issue. In the first place, in his letter, he indicated who he indicated the committees because he knew the relevant committee as per the issue he raised. He talked about the committee on concession investment. He talked about lands and mines. He talked about public works. He talked about public account. He talked about all of these committees. And exactly as he recommended, the plenary constituted the committee. And that's the committee that have been working all alone with the people. Where his anger come from, nobody knows. That is why usually whenever complaints like those, like his, are lifted, normally the senator that raised the issue is not always left out. For instance, Botokane raised issue against Bachiko, and issue against Beer Mountain. When he came out, he was there. Prince Moy raised issue against NG Cole. When we were there, going there, he was there. But his issue is not as constructive as those other senators are. He is combative. He is antagonistic. So how could we carry him if we wanted the whole issue to be peaceful, especially when the people looking at their experience with him, that anytime he sees them, he combats them. Anytime he sees them, his engagement with them is not constructive. In fact, we've seen all that have happened, what they are doing, records are taken. We carry all of the relevant people. So we will compile our report. In fact, the truth is not only because when we are addressing issue of NIMA, we don't want the Basa people to come and say, oh, we have issue too. So we are doing it holistically. We also have to go to Basa because AML operation affects Basa. So intimidation, aggression against us cannot deter us to do the work that we're supposed to do for and on behalf of the Liberian people.
Grand Crew County Senator Nemine Batikwa there speaking. The Liberia Council of Churches has expressed deep concern over tension that erupted between armed police officers and armless citizens at the Rabat International Airport during former President George Weah's return to Liberia. On Monday, several supporters of former President Weah arrived at Rabat International Airport to welcome him were tear gas and beaten by officers of the Liberia National Police in an effort to disperse them. However, LCC Secretary General Reverend Dr. Christopher Toll said it's important the Ministry of Justice provide clear information regarding the incident.
They has created a concern in the Christian community not only within the Liberal Council, but the faith community is also concerned, and I think the civil society is concerned. It is customary within our own culture when even our pastors or our bishops are traveling or coming, there are people that go to the airport to receive them or to even escort them while they are going. The former President George Weah is a citizen of our country, and I think he deserves due courtesy as a former president, even as a citizen of our country. If people recognize his appearance into the country, a return to the country, I think it's one thing that is of celebration. People should be able to have a high level of tolerance. Howbeit, we are also concerned whether there were any threats that was linked to the former president arrival by people that came to the airport. And so the Ministry of Justice needs to be clear with that, whether there was threat that caused the police action to the group of people that went to the airport, whether the former president's life was at risk, or what is it that really transpired. People need to be informed, because I think he deserves a due courtesy of what kind of welcoming appearance of his sympathizers. We believe that the police should be able to provide the former president's security, and even his supporters also the security, but make sure that their rights also do not also undermine the rights of others, because that's the international airport that is due to everybody and not only one person. We would like to be clear and we would like to be informed with regard to what really happened, because we think it is not good for our democracy. People appearing even, it's not only the airport, but it may be tomorrow, the former president or whoever will appear somewhere and the police is there. It should be the whole issue of providing security. And I think those persons should be informed that we are here to provide security for you, because it's the government responsibility to provide security to the former president. We're not looking at him as the CDC standard bearer, but he's a former president of this country. And I think he due national security, because it is his right to be able to obtain that national security and that respect. And anything on the contrary that would derail that whole issue of respectability is something of concern.
The head of the Independent Commission on Human Rights says that prolonged investigation by police in the alleged rape involving the suspended youth and sports deputy minister is of utmost concern to his institution. Councillor Dexter Brown noted that currently there are about 351 inmates behind bars at the Monrovia Central Prison for alleged rape that did not get treatment, like Deputy Minister McGill, who stand accused for raping a 14-year-old girl.
That the rape law is quite different from any other law. It says that any individual is accused of rape, they have to arrest you while you in a detention at South Beach. Investigation will continue. But what we are concerned about is that the conduct of the police. I visited the police section and I was told that they investigating. I asked them, why will you investigate from the 30th of August up to the time more than 3 weeks now?
I think the concern is that to get some probable cause before us doing an arrest.
And the rape law did not say so. If you go to Monrovia Central Prison, we got almost 351 individuals that were accused of rape, but they never did DNA tests, and they have the people in jail, and some of them stay 2 to 3 years now. And our concern is that the police is shooting this man, and we will not sit here as human rights group to see somebody who's raped a 14-year-old girl, a government official, to go free. Now, the president addressed the United Nations, and he made it clear that he will protect the rights of women, especially gender-based violence and sexual violence. President Baka, in good faith, removed this man from office, suspended him, and replaced him immediately. So what the police is waiting for? I met with the Minister of Justice that discussed the same thing, that we should not make the government to look ugly. The state, like, bro, we are on a non-prominent seat of the United Nations. Then we will play game with children, a child under age, 14 years, government official, raped this guy according to her, and then the police director admitted that the medical report said that the girl was tampered with. What is going on now is selective justice, and we will not allow that. And I know about President Baka will not allow selective justice. So those that are responsible, that shitty McGill, will be dealt with as a keeping with law. We have to go to court where now we're preparing a madam to go to the Supreme Court to compel Gregory Coleman to turn the young man over to the police.
Do you think the petition petition for Rita Madamu was loud in this matter?
Oh, I mean, the law is the law. So why is it the one man they can't carry the man to jail? Who is he? Is he God? This is our concern as somebody else's child. They say the girl is declining because she cries every day. What is the problem?
So your concern is that the deputy minister should be arrested, and what investigation is ongoing?
He must be arrested. What happened to the others must happen to him. The Unity Party came to power to rescue us, but there are people around president that destroy his administration.
Sure, this
I'm definitely telling you.
that is a grave allegation.
That's not great allocation. We signed a performance agreement with the executive mansion, and that agreement says that we must perform as a keeping with our function under the statute that created our institution. I continue to say that there are people who signed a performance agreement, they are not operating correctly, and they are destroying the image of this government. To be frank, I'm not hiding anything from anybody. I'm not in favor of anybody. They are destroying Boca legacy.
He's the head of the Independent Commission on Human Rights, Dexter Brown, there speaking. Liberia will possibly become an epicenter of continental maritime dialogue with preparation for the country to host the 2025 Association of African Maritime Administrations Conference. Held from September 30 to October 3 in Monrovia, the conference will bring together policymakers, regulators, industry experts, and international partners to shape the future of Africa's maritime and inland water economy. Speaking at a press briefing in Monrovia Tuesday, Liberia's special representative to the IMO, Ambassador Robert Bade, termed the conference as Africa's broader maritime aspiration.
So Liberia has the distinct honor to host this year's conference, which is the 8th AMA conference. AMA has a membership of over 40 African countries, and of course, other organizations, MOCA, and many other organizations to include the African Ship Owners Association. The 30th of September, the conference begins and runs up to October 3rd. We are pretty much, I can confirm that we will have over 200 international guests of all levels, heads of maritime institutions, ambassadors. So we're going to have big executives, movers and shakers of the maritime sector globally, the industry globally, that will be trooping on our dear country for the conference. The conference is held under the theme emphasizing Africa's blue economy potential specifically and safeguarding Africa's maritime space. Africa has a very rich endowment of water resources across its landscape, in sea, in ocean, in rivers, and even made in lakes. And so the emphasis is placed on how we can convert this endowment collectively as African maritime member states, convert our endowment into economic benefits for our people. How can we now begin to put emphasis as a continent on our blue economy, create jobs for our people, and build a very burgeoning, hospitality industry, which will include small watercraft and other aspects in the sector, to include, shipyard and many other things, cruise from place to place. But that will require, mobilizing needed investment in the sector.
He's Liberia's special representative to the IMO there speaking. Well, folks, if you are just coming our way, there's a reminder that you are listening to the September 24, 2025 edition of King's Newsroom, 45-minute news about Liberia and the rest of our one world. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more developments. Welcome back. And today's next development, the National Timber, Wood Construction and Alien Workers Union of Liberia has sharply reacted through the Ministry of Finance decision to pay debt logging company holds its members through their mobile money numbers. Addressing a press conference in Monrovia, the union's Secretary General Marcus Blaman disclosed that numbers of the members of the union are fully determined to resist the ministry move. It also cautioned of former team of workers to avoid sending their mobile money numbers through the Ministry of Finance for any transaction.
We are private institution, and we are not going to allow for government to pay us. It is not a government paying us. Government owe us our services we render to the private companies, and they are to give this money to us to pay our membership. To tell us say we want to pay people by mobile money is ambiguous. But can they go to River G now, River Bay, and pay workers that are there, OO men are there? How can TDC where operating? Green logging company, when you get to total time, take the road on the left hand side. In a group of companies in Maryland are operating there, under Camping Mauer, Oscar Cooper, Cavalry Timber Corporation that are operating between Sando and Grand Jide to pay the people that are living there. Green logging company around Grand Jide to pay the people. Another group of company in Nimba to pay the people. The people don't have mobile money. People are people that work for their money and they're in the bushes there. That is why we said the union, because we were covering them before even the war. That today they want to go pay the people $7 million United States dollars is what the government have agreed to pay as by announced by them. But we are not going to suggest ourselves to paying our people by mobile money because our people will not receive their money. We all know what mobile money can do. They will say information that you get money, the money will not come. If people do not receive their money, they will hold you responsible. They will say the union lied to us, they took our money, and we will not agree today, we will not agree tomorrow. And I call upon all timber workers, nobody should go to finance ministry to get paid. No way. Let us wait. Let the president promise us come back. We'll go back to him. We say no to it, and we say no to it tomorrow, yesterday, and day after tomorrow. We never agree to it. Finance ministry, they are not doing well. When they issued a check to John Banama through Liberty Law Firm, they never talk about mobile money, but rather they issue the check. I understood that they have already canceled the check. If it is true, it will be a good thing to sell for them. But what we have done is that we have written the Justice Minister as acting president of the Republic of Liberia a criminal case complete against the people that fraudulently went and received money under pretext.
The Eternity National Congress has announced the holding of its 2025 National Convention in Kakata, Margibi County, aimed at electing new corps of officers and heads of the 2029 presidential and legislative election. Making the disclosure on Tuesday in Monrovia, the organizing chairman of the ANC 2025 National Convention, Patrick Mould, said delegates are expected to adopt a new constitution, raise funds, and develop a budget to run the party.
Arrival of delegates and accreditation will start on October 3rd, 2025. The convention will officially open on the 4th of October. Each county is to bring 4 delegates, comprises of the county chairman, the county secretary general, the county women wing chair, the county youth congress chair. Every convention of an organization, the activities are varies. We will be crafting policies to have a way forward. The grown election 2023 was devastating to us. So we're trying to, at a convention, to recalibrate the spirit of our partisan and see how well we can forge ahead to tackle 2029. We'll be extending invitation to the ruling party, the Congress for Democratic Change, the Liberia People Party, the Liberty Party, the Speaker Emeritus, Councillor J. Fanati Kofa, Councillor Kabina Janet, Councillor Kwame Clement, our vice running mate, Charlene Proskin of the former CPP, and some lawmakers. We give special invitees the space to make remarks. We are going for convention to elect new corporate officers. We'll be electing a political leader, party chairman, the party national vice chair for administration, and the rest going on. At the convention, we'll also be raising funds. From the funds being raised, it help to keep the wheels of the organization turning. We also go in there to adapt our amended constitution and to craft the budget for from 2026 upward to 2029.
The Liberia National Police Broom County Detachment has arrested, charged, and forwarded to the Ninth Judicial Circuit Court two suspected armed robbers. The Austin Maswet 40 and Aman Manto Urid 43. The suspects were charged with theft of property, criminal conspiracy, and simple assault following their arrest in the GST rural community. Speaking at a press briefing, Broom County Police Commander ACP Fasu Sharif confirmed the arrest and reiterated the police commitment in combating crimes across the county.
Over the weekend, we were able to ransack a community in Banga Oil Depot area where we arrested two notorious criminals. One, Austin Maxwell, age 40, and Amma Mator Ure. And Amma Mator Ure is one of the notorious criminals who usually harbor another criminal from Mosul, the other area, whenever they come here to commit armed robbery and other crime within the community. So another one who is alleged, who is on the run now, Fakai. He's a Sierra He's a Sierra who usually come in Broom County and liaise with these guys that we just named to terrorize our community. So those two guys are presently under the custody of the Liberia National Police.
Ahead of the news presentation is our foreign development, but this story sets the pace. Authorities of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency on Tuesday held a recognition and honoring ceremony for its Iron Gate Detachment Commander Abdullah Kroban and his team. The recognition ceremony held at its headquarters and graced by senior officials and officers. Commanders follow the Iron Gate Detachment recent raid in Jatoro Town and Broadville City that resulted to a huge drug boost. As part of the appreciation, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency (ORC) presented a new set of uniform and boots to Officer Crowman for his hard work, describing the gift as a symbol of appreciation from the LDEA leadership.
God strengthen you. That God continue to bless you, your family, and your team. That continue to provide security for the Liberian people. So I want to say thank you. And this is it's a full suit of uniform, boots, cap, and everything. To energize you. Do your good work. Thank you. What is this? All right, I'll be aware about them.
In response, Commander Abdullah Kroman expressed gratitude to the agency head and deputies. He also thanked the citizens for their support during the operation and called for more citizens' support in the fight against illegal drugs across the country. We sincerely apologize. We cannot lay our hands on that episode. We hope to bring you that during our subsequent newscast. And now on the way from home, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have announced they will immediately withdraw from the International Criminal Court, labeling it as an instrument of neo-colonialist repression. The three military-led countries issued a joint statement saying They would not recognize the authority of the UN-backed code based in The Hague. The RCC has proven itself capable of handling and prosecuting proven war crimes, crimes against humanity, crimes of genocide, and crimes of aggression, the three leaders have said. The code has not yet responded to the decision by the three countries, out of which, with close tie to Russia, whose leader Putin has subjected to an RCC arrest warrant. And this is how we come to the end of today's edition of the news program. But before we take leave of you, reminder of top stories will close the photo. United States government announces dropped charges against Liberian former female ruthless rebel leader Mayaman Sisi, popularly known as Black Diamond, faces possible deportation. Government of Liberia expresses readiness to pay 7.1 million to Timor workers through mobile money transfer or National Timor Wool Construction and Alien Workers Union reject the ministry's move. African Maritime Administration's conference to commence in Monrovia on September 30 as Liberia's special representative to the International Maritime Organization. Ambassador Robert Bartlett terms the conference a boast of domestic growth. And away from home, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have announced they will immediately withdraw from the International Criminal Code, labeling it as instrument of neo-colonialist repression. On this note, we'd like to say many thanks to our reporters, editors for making today's news presentation a success. Newton Togba was here with the news bulletin, and Sam Andrews sat at control and ably coordinated the sound. I'm Stephen Compton. Thanks for listening and watching.